Bueno, y saludito lógico a Ricardo Arroyo que está por ahí, que me dice que está comiendo los tostitos de guacamole. Rafael Carmona, el ex Grandes Ligas con los Marineros de Seattle y compañero mío en colegio,
Sí,
Golí, el gran
caballete,
Golí,
saludos,
también está
saludos,
por ahí. Le
saludos.
enviamos nuestro saludo. Baerga, que tú tuviste muchas batallas en la Liga Invernal, de esas con Rafael Carmona también en
Sí,
la Loma.
caballete.
Así que saludos a todos. Joaquín, que está por ahí. Bueno, sigan por ahí conectándose y ahorita estaremos hablando un poquito más de las cositas nuevas antes de traer nuestro invitado especial también. Pues es un día especial para Denis Martínez, que está cumpliendo años. El
Sí,
presidente Baerga está cumpliendo años. Joey Cora, nuestro Joey Cora también está cumpliendo años. Y otro miembro del
ok.
Salón de la Fama, que estábamos vacilando un ratito ahorita con él, Tani Pérez, también está de
Wow,
cumpleaños. Así que un día, mire, Baerga lleno de caballeros.
un día especial, un día súper especial. Como jugué con dos de ellos y con Tani no, pero es uno de mis ídolos peloteros puertorriqueños. Yo digo que puertorriqueño es el sexto hombre en el Salón de la Fama de Puerto Rico. Eso es así.
Definitivamente, definitivamente. Así que mire, ya sin más preámbulos, vamos ya con el invitado especial de la noche, uno de los mejores campos cortos que ha dado el béisbol de las Grandes Ligas, para algunos una leyenda del campo corto, miembro del Salón de la Fama. Si no sabes quién es, escúchenla.
Shelby back up the middle, cut off by the Wizard. Look at the play. He gets his man.
The Cardinal games in '86. Grounded up the middle. Ozzie back. Oh, what a play. Hurd to Clark. The Wizard.
We're in the bottom of the 12th. Up the middle. Can Smith get it? Ozzie dives. Can he have time? Oh, my goodness. What a play, Ozzie Smith.
There goes Harris on a ground ball. Alisea at the second for one. The double play. What a double play by Ozzie Smith. Oh, mercy. Again, the runner, Lenny Harris, is going. Bearing down on Ozzie Smith. Alisea up in the air. Harris tries to roll, block him out of there. And there it is. What a double play. You're not going to see any better. I'll guarantee you that. Look at that play. Look where Sochi is. He's almost marveling at the double play himself. He's almost saying, I can't believe it either.
And here is, I mean, we welcome to Me Gusta los Deportes junto a Baerga y sus amigos, one of the best shortstop in the history of baseball, un caballete, nuestro amigo Ozzie and me. How you doing, my man? And welcome, bienvenido.
Uh, thank you so much. That brings back so many wonderful memories, man. You know, I had the chance to play for 19 years, man, and I never worked a day in my life. It was just, it was just great fun every day going to the ballpark.
Wow, what an honor we have tonight, you know, to have my good friend, Ozzie Smith. You know, I always say to everybody, I had the opportunity to play right next to him in Japan with the All-Star, USA All-Star team. That was something very special. This guy win 13 Gold Glove, 15 All-Star game. You know, the records that he did in the middle. Is, you know, we're going to be talking about this today. But you know what, Ozzie, where everything started. Where you born? You born
Okay.
in California. You born in
No,
California. Where you born? Uh-huh.
no, I was born in the baseball town of Mobile, Alabama, and people from
Okay.
Alabama, Hank Aaron, Tommy Agee, Billy Williams, Willie McCovey, Satchel Paige.
Wow.
We are exactly 2% of the Hall of Fame. So I was born in Mobile, but I moved from Mobile when I was 6 years old. So most of my growing up was done in Southern California.
Okay.
How I mean, when that move when that move happened, and all of a sudden you go to California, of course, it's a lot different that we were Mobile, Alabama, and all that stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure you
Right.
still had to deal, you and your family had to deal with a lot of stuff, no matter where you were going at that time, anyway. But I mean, was Ozzie always thinking about, you know, baseball is the sport that I would like to try to keep playing. I love baseball, or there was all this stuff that you were doing just to try to, you know, enjoy your childhood.
Well, you know, when we were young growing up, we played everything, just like you guys probably did. We played every sport. And when I decided to go to college, I had to I had to decide what I was going to do, whether I was going to play basketball, which was what I excelled in high school, or
Oh,
whether or not I was going to play baseball. Well, my size had something to do with that, because I wasn't very tall. I was quick and had good hand and eye coordination, and I was a good shooter. But after doing some soul searching, I realized that baseball was really what I loved doing more than anything else. Now, I never got drafted out of high school. I played in high school with Eddie Murray. And when you play with an Eddie Murray, when
okay.
scouts come to the park, they're not coming to see a 150-pound shortstop. They're coming to see a guy
They
who's a
want to see
switch hitter who
power.
can hit.
Yeah.
That's right. They come to see power. So I always tell kids I had to take a different route to the big leagues. I had to go to college where
Wow.
I spent 4 years in college. And most people think that because you made it to the big leagues that you were one of those bonus babies. Give you guys a story. In 1976, I was playing semi-pro baseball in a little small town called Clarinda, Iowa.
Ooh.
And I got drafted by the Detroit Tigers,
Okay.
which was the first time I'd ever been drafted. I had finished 3 years of my schooling. I promised my mom I would get an education. So when they came to me, they offered me, I went in the 8th round and they offered me $8,500. And in my infinite wisdom, I said to myself, if they give me 10 grand, I'll take it, it's worth the chance,
Okay.
if they give me 10 grand. So I went back to them and asked them for another $1,500, and they say they didn't have it in the budget. Now, this was the same year they drafted Alan Trammell, Lou Whitaker, Jack Morris, I
Wow.
believe it was. And they told me they had a ticket ready for me to go to Lakeland, Florida. So at that point, I had to gamble. I took a gamble that my skills and things would continue to get better, and I would get another opportunity as a senior. Now, not many seniors get an opportunity. So that was a real gamble for me. So being the good businessman that I am, I signed for $5,000 and a bus ticket to Walla Walla, Washington, where I started my professional career with the San Diego Padres.
that means you're already
Wow.
down
Wow.
$3,500.
And
You're
so
already down 35.
so we're not all bonus babies. It all worked out in the end, but it didn't start as a glamour ride.
You see something that really take my head right away when you say your mother want you to study. Your mother,
Yes.
that was very important because that's a lot of kids, that we have here in our show, our parents with the kids. And that's something that now people are forgetting about. You have to study
Yes.
because you never know what can happen in your career. And that's
That's right. That's right, Carlos.
how important it was for you.
It was very important. And I tell kids today that if you're not going to be one of those number one picks who get some, 2 million, $3, $4 million, it's probably better to go ahead and get your education, because with your education, you'll always have something to fall back on. And I think so many kids today
Mhm.
put all of their eggs in one basket, and they're
Mhm.
praying that they make it. And the percentage of guys making it to the big leagues and staying in the big leagues are very small.
Yeah.
So if you have the opportunity and you're not going to be one of those one of the big picks or the top picks, get your education, because that'll be something that you could have the rest of your life.
And Ozzie, it's great that you said that, because I always tell kids. I mean, we've been doing this for years and years, and I always tell a story that happened to me when I first got drafted. Signed with the Indians and all that stuff. So after I got done with college, I said I'm gonna try this, see how it goes. My dad, he already played professional baseball in the big league. He knew how tough it was, so he kind of prepared me a little bit. All of a sudden, I see my scout, the guy that just signed me like a month ago. I see him in my opening day game in the minor league, and I'm like, all right, the guy is here, he thinks I'm all that. So I'm talking to him and all that. He said, hey, man, good luck. I'll see you next year. I said, whoa, whoa, that's it. You're not going to see me no more. He goes, no, right now I'm going back to Iowa where I got you, and I'm going to sign your replacement. I was like, what? I said, yeah.
Oh,
If you don't do
uh,
your
Wow.
job, trust me, I'm not stopping my job. So he
Wow.
was already telling me, Ozzie,
telling me.
right away, You know,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
don't I haven't done nothing. I just got drafted. That's all I did,
Right.
side professional, whatever. But this guy, if he sees another guy like me, he's gonna sign him, and he
That's
don't
it.
care. So it was
That's
it's
exactly
good you
right.
said that, Ozzy.
Yes, you gotta continue to work, and you gotta approach this game as if there's always somebody chasing you, and they're always looking
Yes.
for that next guy. So that's
Yeah.
why it's important to work hard to be the very best that you can be every day. Leave there knowing that
Mm-hmm.
you did your very best that day, not meaning that you won, but you gave your all that day. You have to treat every day as if it's the last day you're going to have a chance to play. So I always I always wanted to leave the ballpark knowing that I did not leave anything out there, that I gave the people what they paid their
Wow.
money to see. And if a club's going to get rid of me, they're not going to get rid of me because I didn't do my job. They're just going to get rid of me because of it was a
Th-
business situation.
Yeah.
That is discipline. That is, that what, I am not the best. I don't invent this game. This is not my game. I have to play hard every day. I don't want nobody to take it away from me. And that's very important. My friend, you signed, and when I see when I see your numbers, when I went to the minor leagues, you just played 1 year in the minor leagues. Right away, hit 303, boom,
Yeah,
and you go up to the big leagues. Tell me
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
That move. Did you expect that right
Well,
away?
well, I think that what you have today, I think college programs today prepare kids. It's like a high A ball.
Yeah.
The programs today are very, very good college programs. And I had a very good college coach who stressed the importance of fundamentals, good sound fundamentals. When you talk to kids today, we talk about fundamentals because if you have good sound fundamentals, you always have a reference point, something to go
Wow.
back to. There's
Yeah.
so many guys that if they don't have good fundamentals, and if you don't have good fundamentals, then you're always searching. You're always looking for something. But if you have sound fundamentals, you always have something that you can revert to say, okay,
Yes.
this is what I need to do to get myself back on.
I mean, and the
Yes.
good thing about it, Ozzy, I mean, by going to college, I mean, I know you took a gamble, like you're saying, and all that stuff sometimes, but by going to college, I mean, you pretty much just went in the minor leagues while you were in college. I mean, and beside the
Yes.
guys that are signing 17, 18 years old, all that pressure in top of them, they still kids. They got
Hmm.
all this stuff going around them, and they're already walking in thin rope just because you're a professional, and they could release you tomorrow. I mean, that's just how baseball it is.
That's
So
right.
for you, it's a good example of a guy that a lot of guys might say, "Oh, he was only in the minor league 1 year. Wow, he was a like you say a bonus baby." No, that's not it. It's just that they knew back then he's
No,
ready. He already went through all his youth, and he already did whatever
the
stupid thing
process.
probably he was doing to get his idea. No, I can't do this. I have to do this because that's what college teach you. And I mean that's a good point because now in baseball the draft is not that big, and you know how it is. I mean, if it's not that big, now
Yeah.
teams are pretty much just gonna be able to talk. Hey, Aussie, will you be willing to sign for this money? Because I'm not gonna draft you and waste that spot if you're not gonna draft for this much money. You're not gonna sign. So now it's gonna be a lot tougher for kids to try to get a good, fair shot to make it to the big league.
Yeah, things happen so quickly for kids today. And I think that's part of what the problem with baseball is. Guys get compensated before they do anything. So when they do something, they're,
Hmm.
where do you have to go? So, for us, Carlos, when we played, we had to earn it. You had to earn it every
Yeah,
day, and even when you did, and I
Yes.
say that for us, but for the guys that came before us, it was even tougher because I've talked to guys like
Yeah.
Gibson and Brock and those guys. Even when they had good years, there was no guarantee they were going to get a better contract
Hmm.
mm,
because ownership always had total control of the situation. So it
I
was
know.
important for you to go out there and prove your worth day in and day out and having a good work ethic. And it's one of the reasons that guys like Gibson, when they pitched, they went 9 innings. They went 9 innings
yeah,
because it's a shame to pitch a great game and hand it over to somebody who is not capable or is afraid,
Yeah.
be, because that may have a bearing on whether or not you get a contract the following year. So
Yeah.
they stayed out there a lot longer, trying to make sure that they finish the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ozzie, you played with San Diego for 4 years, and right away when you came up to the big leagues, you make the impression on everybody. Wow, I never see anything like that. There was great shortstop playing the game. Like Ernie Banks, Bert Campanelli. I love history, so I watch a lot of the old people, stuff like that. But you changed the game to be an acrobatic, shortstop. You dive, you slide, you catch the ball with a bare hand, with a bad hat. You double play, you jump all over everybody. So where you learn that? Where you learn that, man?
you know, Carlos. Well, first of all, I was born with pretty good hand and eye coordination, and I told you my sport in high school. Eddie Murray and I both we played a lot of basketball, man. So that's where I got my leaps. Okay, I
Yeah.
could really leap. And then I lived across the street from a wood factory where they used to make pallets, those
No.
wooden pallets. So there was
Okay.
always sawdust around. And so we would go over there and stick the boards between the pallets, and we would jump and tumble in the sawdust. And then on Thursdays
Wow.
we'd go to what they call family fun centers, where they
Oh
had
my.
trampolines in the ground. And I
Oh.
would jump from
Yeah, yeah,
trampoline to
yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
flip. I was crazy. I was crazy, but I would flip from over the concrete from one trampoline to the other with no
Ozzy, I
fear.
mean,
And
Ozzy, wait,
so
wait, 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 wait. You were getting ready to be a wrestler, man. Not a basketball player.
right.
Or
That's
gymnastic,
right. I
or
was preparing for
gymnastic,
my
because
wrestling career.
I told you wasn't gymnastic. That's why Palomito, when he asked you at the beginning, do you play any other sport? Because you always look like a gymnastic guy. I always say his body
Yeah.
is perfect. The way he jumps is unbelievable. That's something special.
You know what it is, Carlos? It was I had to preserve myself too. I was trying to save my life. Those guys back then, they could come get you. So it was a way of life for us. We knew that
Yeah.
those guys were coming to get you. So unlike now, you can't touch a guy now.
Nah, nah, nah,
It's
nah, man. I mean,
we've become
it's
a sissy sport.
I mean, everything is
It's
changing, Ozzy.
crazy.
Ozzy,
This is
Ozzy.
this
Even
is
even
absurd.
watching NBA, it's being brutal because now you touch a guy and he just fouled. He's
Oh,
fouled. I mean, every sport is getting a little weird. Football, I know there's still hard contact, but it's still time easy getting soft with the quarterbacks. They could take their time and do their stuff. So everything is changing a lot, and that's great that you say. And it's a great point that you were saying about the way you were growing up, jumping and doing all this
mhm.
stuff. You were I mean, without knowing, you were getting better without knowing once you play a sport, whatever sport you were going to play. And that's something that we're losing that right now, also. I mean, we're playing a lot of travel ball teams. We're doing all that
Yes.
stuff. And I think it's too, for me, I mean, I work here in a baseball academy. We got 18 teams, counting 7-year-old all the way to 16. And I always tell the parents, I mean, I'm happy to do baseball clinic. I'm happy to do lessons. Of course, for me, I could do it every day, but I think your kid needs to take a break. He needs to play something else, do
That's right.
something else. And we don't
Give
we
them.
don't do that anymore, Ozzy. There's hardly anything here. I mean, I could be down the street, Ozzy. I don't know if it's happening to you. I live here in Massachusetts. I could be down the street and I could do it for a week and I don't see one kid in a
Kid.
bicycle. It's just like, what's
No.
going on? And we're in
Right.
trouble, Ozzy. We're in
It-
trouble.
you know, what we're doing is we're early. I call it early burnout. They're doing it. They're forcing their kids to do it so much that by the time it's time to make a decision, the kid is going, "No, I don't think so. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. I don't want to do this anymore." That's why it's important to give kids variety.
Wow.
And
Wow.
baseball may not be their thing, but because they've not allowed them to explore other
Yeah.
sports, they don't know. So it's important to give kids variety, a chance to do something different so that they don't get burned out. And if they're good
Yeah.
enough to make it to the big leagues, then they'll give themselves every opportunity to be successful.
Yeah.
Ozzie, you got trade to the St. Louis Cardinals. When that trade happened, you was happy about it? You got trade for Sisto Lecano, Puerto Rican guy, and Gary Templeton. I used to like Gary Templeton too.
I tell you,
he was a good player.
Gary, I always say that, when you get traded for a player the caliber of Gary Templeton, who was one of the most talented guys to ever put on a pair of spikes, there's always pressure to perform well. Gary was that true 5'2" player. He could hit for power. He could hit for average. He could run, had a cannon for an arm. He had all of the things that you look for in a big league shortstop. And so coming over here, there was always that question as to whether or not I was as good as I thought I was, or as good as Whitey Herzog thought I was as a player. And so it was up to me to prove to people that the trade was the right one for the St. Louis Cardinals. So I came here knowing that I had some big shoes to fill, but I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself by being something that I wasn't. I just had to be me. And I was allowed to do that. Whitey Herzog allowed me to be me, and it all worked out. I worked out for Gary as well. They made it to the World Series with the Padres and stuff, and it was just one of those things, man, that it changed my life. Of course, coming over here, giving me the opportunity to win, and I think that's what we all want. We want the opportunity to win. And certainly coming to the Cardinals gave me that opportunity. I went to the World Series 3 times. We won it all in 1982. We went 7 games in 85 and 7 games in 87. So there are guys that spend their whole careers and never get to experience that. And it was a wonderful experience.
Don't mention 85, because then everybody's going to remember Todd Worrell in first base and all that stuff and whatever happened. I mean, we're not going to mention that. So you don't get into that anymore. But I got 2 questions. Questions. It'll be quick. You'll be quick. You went to the Padres when you got called up. There were some big guys there already. Dave Winfield was there. I think Rollie Fingers was there. Gaylord Perry, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was there too. It was a good team when you got called up.
Yes, but it was a totally different team, because they had a lot of free agents. They had Gene Tennis. They had Rollie Fingers. They had Gaylord Perry. They had, of course, Dave Winfield was there. Gene Richards. It was a really good team. And Oscar Gamble actually came over at one point.
Oscar Gamble,
so we had a pretty good team, and I think that was kind of the beginning of what it was that they were trying to do. It took them a few more years to finally get some consistency with that and understanding, what it was that they needed from a scouting standpoint and stuff. And they had a lot of those problems in the minor leagues with their scouting department and stuff. And but they finally got it figured out, and they really have it figured out now, because they got some pretty good players over there, starting with a shortstop by the name of Tatis.
Ozzie, it's easy to figure out when you got $300 million for one and another guy. It's easy to figure out. No, but you played for Roger Craig, if I'm not mistaken, when you came up to the big league, and then of course you got Whitey Herzog. Those 2 guys were, we don't see that anymore. We don't see the managers being, the managers, one guy that you want to go see. Now you don't even know sometimes who's the manager, because you got no idea. But those 2 guys are 2 different.
You know why?
How different were them, and how you feel about the managers right now?
Well, let me say this here. I think that it was so early in my career over there with the Padres that it was hard to give a real fair assessment of how good Roger Craig was. He went on and was very successful with the Giants, but he wasn't there long enough for me to be able to say, how good a manager he was. Whitey Herzog, I played the majority of my career with, and I know that he was probably one of the best baseball people, because he had done everything in baseball, from cleaning shoes to being a general manager to being the manager, and he had a real understanding. He had a true understanding of what he was looking for in a player. When you put on a Whitey Herzog team, you always knew what your role was, and your job was to
Let everybody know.
play the role as best you could. And
Yeah.
he only had two rules: be on time and give 100%. And if you couldn't be on time and give 100%, then you shouldn't be in the big leagues. That's all you could ask for, is give me the opportunity and let me do what it is I do.
Wow, that's what I want as a manager. That's what I want. Don't be late and play 100%.
Yes.
That's awesome. Ozzie, you in that trade,
And play hard.
Mambo de and play hard. Mambo de Leon, Luis de Leon got trade from San Luis to San Diego, Palillito. In that trade, later on, that trade happened.
Yes.
You win the World Series in '82, and you made your first All-Star game in 1983. And you made 15 All-Star games.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's the most by a shortstop in the big leagues. Tell me about that first All-Star game. That first All-Star game, it take you to another level. Tell me about that.
It did, and here again, I just had the chance to be me. And on two occasions, Carlos, Now, you remember myself and Omar Vizquel, who was my counterpart in the American League, we were the last of the true prototypical shortstops. And so, when you can get the most votes, notably as a defensive player, it speaks to the appreciation that people have for the way you go about your business. And I got the most votes in the National League twice, and that, I never dreamed of that, but it was because of the way I went about my job every day. I went about my job every day feeling or approaching it like it was going to be the last day that I had a chance to play. And I think that carried over to how people saw me when I went out there on the field.
Ozzie, I really remember you playing, I would say, from '84 on. And I always follow you because, of course, the Atlanta Braves back then were broadcasting almost every game to Puerto Rico. So we were able to see, you guys play what you guys got there. And you robbed my best player, Dale Murphy, a lot of hits. And I'm not happy about that.
Dale Murphy.
That's something else. That was my favorite player. Just think, we only had
Don't hit it to shortstop. Don't hit it.
That's it. It's real simple.
But, I always liked the 1985 baseball team from the Cardinals. I remember buying all the baseball cards from that year for that team because it was a team that you didn't know what was going to happen every night. It could be defense, it could be stealing, it could be. And I want to ask you, Ozzie, talk about that team. Plus, how you think that team would do right now in the big league against the other 29 teams?
It's real simple, Paulito. That people ask us all the time, could our team have played with guys that play today? Let me tell you something. When you're a good team and you're sound fundamentally and you don't beat yourself, you could play in any era. Because when it boils down to is execution. Day in, day out. I know that if I execute day in and day out, and that means doing the little things, getting a guy on, getting him over, getting him in, the consistency with which you're able to get the guy in from third base with less than 2 down. Yes, seeing the ball fly out of the ballpark is beautiful. It's pretty. But what happens when that guy on the mound is dealing? You still got to be able to generate offense. And you can't always hit the home run. It's not always there. And I think that's where the game has gotten so boring. In the 80s, our team in the 80s was able to put pressure on people because we knew that if a team was built from an offensive standpoint, it probably meant that they weren't very good defensively. So the way that you put pressure on them is with good overall team speed, which we had. Don't strike out, put the ball in play, force them to make plays, force them to throw you out. Keep the pressure on, and that's what we were able to do. We weren't a team that struck out a lot, so the ball was always in play, and you always had guys standing out there saying, please don't hit it to me. Please don't hit it to me. You know, and when you can garner that type of respect, or where people know you have a reputation of being a good defensive ball club, with as well as a team who could put pressure on people because you didn't strike out a lot. There were a lot of times that we played ball games where we were up 3 runs before the game even started.
Yeah. That's what is amazing. You know and you put pressure to the defense too. They have to catch the ball because if they get on base, they're going to steal the base. You know, you put a pressure. That's why this game has changed so much. Palillito, let me tell you something about Ozzie. I'm looking here his numbers. The most was 43 strikeout. 43 strikeout. Now the organizations, they applaud somebody. They get 170 because he hit 40 home run and 60 RBI. That's good. That's not good. You know why? Let me tell you why that's not good. In 1987, you don't even one home run, and you got 75 RBI. That's amazing, Palillito. I want a guy like that in my team. That's a player that I like. That's a player that brings somebody in there. That's why when we do this show, I like to teach. And that's what we're doing tonight. I love it.
You know, and Tommy Herr, I think that year had 110 RBIs, and he only had 10 home runs. 9 or 10 home runs.
Eight home runs.
The home run is it's pretty, but it's not necessary to win, because we proved that in the 80s. You know, we were the lowest home run hitting team every year in the 80s. We didn't hit the ball out of the ballpark, but we put the ball in play, and we were consistent at driving that runner in from third base. We understood that if he got on, you get him over, you get him in.
I mean, and then all of a sudden, you guys have the manager was able to do some stuff. Right in each inning, he was able to just come up with something. Brilliant. You guys were able to do something, because I remember seeing a lot Vince Coleman getting on base, and my dad always telling me, they don't have to waste a bunt to get him over to second. Let him steal second, then ball him over, or hit the other way. We don't do that anymore. It's like people right now in this baseball think that as soon as he gets to first base, we all yelling bunt. No, that's not the idea. The idea is, we need to get into second base. And if you have the faster runner on first, why are we waiting? I mean, and that's, I think, is part of the boring part. My dad is having a tough time watching game for the last 10 years, 15 years. And because he says, I can't see a kid in first that is the fastest guy in that team. And he stays there, 1 out, 2 out. He doesn't do nothing. And then they go 8 or 9 innings without scoring a run. I mean, well, you don't move them. So, Ozzie, I mean, you've been, well, let me put it this way, like we always do. Ozzie, how long you last watching a game right now on TV? Because we know when we go to the stadium, well, my dad lasts 5 innings in the stadium, but on TV, how long Ozzie Smith could watch a game now?
Not very long at all, because let me say this here. I think, I have to watch Cardinal games because I do a program called Cardinal Insider. So I want to stay up on what's going on. But as far as other baseball is concerned, man, it's boring. There's no excitement there. I mean, there's excitement when a guy hits a home run and he's got his style on and all of that stuff. But I didn't grow up that way. If you always have respect for your competition. So you never try and show a person up, because that's bad karma that will always come back to you. Mm-hmm. So you do your job. If you hit the ball, you run, you take your tour, and you get out of there, and you don't try and show people up. I look at a lot of baseball today, and it's all about showing people up and styling, and then from a media standpoint, they say, well, let the kids have fun. Play. Yeah, you can have fun. Do it respectfully.
I mean, Ozzie, right now in this baseball that we're playing right now, this play here, guys will do what you did at shortstop, and the guy just sliding 3 feet away from the back because they can't do nothing anymore. And these guys are jumping and doing all this stuff, and you're like, What are they doing? And people, look, check this out. This is not for show. If he doesn't do it, that guy's in top of him. Chris Green would take him over to left
That's
field.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's how baseball is.
I think
This
Lenny.
is
Yeah.
excitement, Ozzie. This is excitement.
Yes, that was one of my favorite plays right there. I always loved the double play because it was so improvisational. Many times
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly how I was going to turn it, and it really depended on where the runner was. On that play right there, that was all improvisation. You know, I
Yeah.
knew that he was running on the play. If he got the ball to me quick enough, if I just take it the traditional way, it kills me. So I had to
Yeah.
be creative in how I turn the double play, and I worked hard on being consistent at turning the double play because that turning the double play gets you out of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say, people, we have right here one of the for me the best because I play with the two best. I play with Ozzie Smith in Japan with the All-Star USA team. I play with him, and I play with Omar Vizquel. I think the two best shortstop. And you know what Omar used to say to me? Throw me the ball no matter what. He don't say throw me on this side, throw it to me to this side. No.
That's right.
Throw me the ball no matter what. And get it to the base
That's
on
right.
time. That's what he said to me. Get to the base
On
on
time.
time and we're
That's
gonna
it.
turn it.
That's
why
it.
we lead the league. We lead the league.
You
So
turn
many,
it.
I played with Omar 5 years and we lead the league all 5 years in double play. So that's why we did it, because we
5 years.
practice. Everything is out of practice. You did something in Japan. You did it every day. And I ask you, you were habit before the game. That's something that I see you over there that you
Yes,
don't
sir.
have to do it because you already play 162 games. But you went to Japan on the last part of your career and you're still doing it. How important is that to do it for these young kids?
Well, Carlos, you know what it is I never wanted to be surprised by anything that happened on the field. If there was a bad spot on the field, I wanted to know where the bad spot was because at that point I can anticipate a bad hop. So
Yeah.
I took a lot of ground balls.
Wow.
I used to love to take infield, man. They don't take infield anymore,
Nah.
which is crazy.
I know.
It's
I
crazy.
know.
Guys,
Man.
it was always a fun time
Yeah.
to watch the outfielders throw, throw the ball around the infield. Look at this. See,
Yeah.
this is
Look at
beautiful.
this. This is Japanese. Japanese people, they're the only one doing it.
Yes. I tell you what, this is where you intimidate people. People see you do this right here. Now, let me tell you something
Yeah.
real quick here. The Negro leagues used to do what they call phantom infield, where they didn't have a ball, but they acted as though they were throwing around. It was entertaining, man. It was so entertaining.
Wow.
And, Japan, those guys understand how important taking infield is and having fun and enjoying what you're doing. And it's just sad that they don't take it anymore because that was me, boy, that was showtime. It was showtime.
Ozzie, it's nice that you said that because Carlos, I went to play the big league Little World Series when we were 16 years old with Little League, and we went to Florida, and it was raining, and we were supposed to, if we beat Japan, we gonna make it to the finals. So we're, Japan is always in the finals, and all we doing all that. We went to practice because it was raining. We couldn't do nothing. So my dad and the other guys, they put us to, go up in the steps and do whatever, try to get something out of it. Here comes Japan, and they get on the field. And my dad is like, how the heck they're going to get on the field? It's wet. What are they doing? They had an infield practice just like us, a phantom one. And all of us, we were so quiet. We're like, and they're yelling, and they're all doing it synchronized and all that. We're like, they beat us like 15-1. There's no way. We were like, they're not real. These guys are not real.
Yeah.
But that's showtime, and it's just amazing. It's amazing to watch some of the things. When I first came into the league in 1978, I used to love to go out and watch the other team take infield. And you remember Julio Gonzalez?
Oh, yeah.
Had good hands.
Julio Gonzalez, yes. Third baseman.
Yes, I watch him take a ball from second base, and the ball would hit and come over here, and boy, I stole that from him. You know, the ball hit the glove and just pop over there because it never looked like he used the glove. It was beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes. And then there was Davy
yeah.
Concepcion bouncing the ball on the AstroTurf. You know, I stole
Oh
that
yeah.
from him.
Yeah, that
That's
part,
all it
yeah.
is. It's a game of steals, man. You steal
Good.
it and make it your own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what Candy Maldonado teach me when I came up to the building. I say, he tell me the best advice that I still give it to the young kids. I say, you know what? Always when you want to play the one team, he tell me you want to watch the Baltimore Orioles. When they come, you want to watch Carl Ripken and Eddie Murray. How they prepare in practice, how they hit, how they feel. When you want to play against Milwaukee, you want to
That's
see
right.
Paul Molitor and Robin Young. You want to see the best players, how
Yes.
they prepare to
That's
play
right.
that game. And that's why you talking here about you teach. I take it over from those guys. What we are learning every day. The kids need to know we learn something
Every
every day. Every day, even watching on TV,
every
even watching
day.
the TV. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Ozzie,
good.
You know, when
let
you
me
when you want
go ahead.
when you're watching batting practice, you know, you can tell whether or not a guy's a big league hitter by his first round of batting practice. You don't see great hitters walking to the plate and the first thing they do is open up and swing their ball. Your great hitters are always hitting the ball the other way. They hit their
Yeah,
first round,
yeah,
they always hit it the other way, which means they're keeping their shoulder and they're working on something. So when you see a
yeah.
guy at 7 or 7:15, it's not so much what he does there as much as it was what he did to get there before he
Yeah.
got there. That's what
That's
you want to
pretty.
know.
Oh
And
my
I think
God.
that'll tell you, you know, how hard he worked by what he does at 7 and 7:15.
That's pretty nice. What Ozzie's saying. It brings back memory of my dad and Tony Perez and all that when they were coaching us. And literally, they would say,
Yeah.
"Hey, you know what? I know if you could hit or you could play or you could do anything in baseball, just the way you put your clothes on. So if your uniform you put it on the right way, I already know. I mean, everything
That's
had to
right.
match for them. Everything had to match.
Uh-huh.
And I heard you saying, just by seeing a guy hitting, I already know if he's good or not.
Oh,
But Ozzie, I mean, now talking about the shortstop like Omar Vizquel and you, because like you said, you two guys are pretty much in the same boat as the type of
yeah.
player you guys were, and pretty much the last ones
Mm,
around. I mean, because now you're gonna have to
yes,
hit 20 home runs if you don't, if you want to be a shortstop or
that's right.
something. But I mean, when you
Mhm.
listen to people, especially the people you're a Hall of Famer already, but you especially the people that have a vote for the Hall of Fame. And I've been getting a little upset the last, a year and a half when they keep saying Omar Vizquel is not really a Hall of Famer because Omar Vizquel couldn't hit. And I'm thinking, he got over 2,800. He played in an era where he probably wasted in his mind
Uh-huh.
now. I probably wasted like 800 at bats moving the runner over and bunting and all that stuff. I mean, as
For me,
you already there, us, you already there. I mean, and you that type of player. How unfair is that?
It is. I mean, there are two players right off the bat. Well, there's three players now that right off the bat that if you ask me, they're Hall of Famers. They're guys that you don't really have to think about. For what Omar was able to accomplish, it's amazing because it pretty much mirrored what I had to do. You come in notably as a defensive player, and you have to
yeah,
work hard at making yourself a better offensive player, which he did.
yes,
He did all
yeah,
those things. Davy Concepcion in Cincinnati was probably the reason that they were successful all those years, but because they had so many great players, you know, from the manager to Pete Rose to Tony Perez to Joe Morgan to
yes.
Johnny Bench. It just goes on and on. And Davey was really the thing that the glue that held that together. And I think Dave
Wow.
Parker is another one that
Yeah,
probably should be in the Hall of Fame that's not.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you
Wow.
in that.
That's awesome that you say
Yeah.
that, man, because I always, the thing is that they change it now because they see these young kids now hitting power. They say, no, no, no. The people that have to go to the Hall of Fame have to be like this guy. No, 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 no. Don't forget about those
Yeah.
guys.
That's
To win.
right. Yeah,
When I see
don't forget about what it.
Parillito and me, yeah, Don't forget about the history. They opened the doors for a lot of people, man. And something like that. Who you like to watch right now in the big leagues in shortstop?
I like, Lindor seems like he has a lot of fun. It seems like he's in San Francisco's consistent. And when I'm talking about being very consistent at your job and stabilizing the middle of the infield. And for me, when I'm watching a game, I'm watching for people who the team can depend on day in and day out. We have a little player here playing second base here by name of Tommy Edman, who I enjoy watching every day because he's fundamentally sound. He's smart. He doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. He does it the right way. He's got a great work ethic, and I love watching him play.
I mean, and Tommy Edman is one of those players that when you watch him play, it feels like he's, like you said before, he's picturing somebody behind me already. If I don't do the job the right way, if I don't, because I'm not a bonus baby, I'm not all that guy. If I don't do it right, somebody could come and bump me from the back, and he looks like that kind of player. I mean, now that we're talking about St. Louis Cardinals, before you go, you have to say something about Yadier Molina, because that's another guy. I mean, that people say, a lot of people say a lot. I don't know why. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer yet.
Anytime he's the only guy that's 2,500, a lot of games. That speaks to himself, and it speaks to his character and stuff. I don't think that he had to play that many games because that position is so demanding. And he's one of those players that as a manager, you've got to be able to know when he has to sit down. You have to tell him when to sit down, because he's never gonna say, I'm not gonna play today. But if you want to keep your team intact and keep him at full strength, you got to give him days off. You got to give him a day off here or there. And not only for him, but for your backup as well. You don't want to go into a situation in the playoffs and the World Series and your backup has only had 3 at-bats. So, I think it's important for a manager to be able to understand a person's psyche, those guys that want to play every day. The great ones always want to play every day. Oh, yeah, I'm in there, coach. But as a manager, you got to be smart enough to say, you know what? I'm going to sit you down today. I'm going to give you a break. We're going to let the backup come in there and play so that we give him some at-bats so that when we need him, if we need him. And as you can see, Yadier got hurt, so it was important for the backup guy to be able to get in there and get some at-bats and stuff. And he's played well.
Step up,
and now that Yadi's back, but as a manager, you got to know when to pull him off, especially as he's gotten older. To be able to pull him back and let him sit down, because if you walk out there and you ask him, how you feel, he's like a gritty pitcher. He's going to say, I feel good. I'm good. So
he's a gladiator, man.
Oh yeah, he's going to go out there every day. So you got to pull the gladiator back. You got to protect the gladiator from himself.
I know. Protect. That's the word right there. Protect him so he can play the whole year, without getting hurt. That's good. Ozzie, man, it's been an honor to have you, man. I can stay with you talking here. We can stay here.
Wait, Baerga, because I mean, we got Ozzie here, man. We can't let Ozzie go like that. Wait. Ozzie, just us here having fun. We're just sitting here in the couch having fun. Don't worry about it. Nobody's listening. Ozzie, I don't want to say you went through the same thing that he's going through right now. We're talking about Albert Pujols. It's not the same, but you were a guy that at the end of your career,
that's right.
I remember when Royce Clayton showed up, Tony La Russa showed up. It was tough, and I could see it. I might be wrong, but when I was watching you play, every time they put you to play, because you weren't playing that much at the end, I mean, your eyes were like, I don't know. I mean, I felt for you. I mean, I don't know if that's how you were feeling, but I felt like, man, this is one of the great ones. I mean, he
Yeah.
doesn't look happy. He
Let me
doesn't look
say,
great. I mean,
let me say
what
this,
do you
Lito.
think Albert is going through?
Well, it's very disappointing to have to end your career that way. Because you
Yeah.
see you see the end much different. When you've had an illustrious career like he's had, it's a shame to have to go through this type of craziness at the end of it.
I know.
And there were only two places really that that it was going to work for Albert, and that would be the Chicago White Sox, where Tony is, which he has a young kid over there,
Yeah.
Yerman, who's going to
Mercedes.
probably be Rookie of the Year. So at 41, it's very tough. It's tough, because they use age against you now, and if you don't have outstanding
Yeah.
numbers, and I
Yeah.
think Albert was hitting 190 or something like that, they got you. They got you.
Uh-huh.
What are you going to do? So you just got to try and keep your chin up. What keep believing and knowing that you've had a great career, and hopefully something happens. I don't know where it's going to happen now. I was thinking maybe Kansas City, where Mike Matheny was, but they're not. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's that room, because it's only going to happen in the American League, because as a DH, you could get those at
Yes.
bats, but it's a tough time. It's tough, he's got to be feeling it, because he's a gladiator.
I'll
That's
see.
another gladiator.
Yeah.
He's a gladiator. I say, if I'm Pujols, I don't play anymore. I retire. That's it. I did everything that I have in the field. I don't deserve this, and it's going to be very hard for the Angels, to fill out, what they did. But
That's right.
if I can ask the San Luis Cardinals to get one at bat with that uniform on and retire, that's gonna be special. I don't know if you see the picture that I'm talking
Oh,
about.
I see. No, that's a great picture. And people here in this town, that they want that. They want that.
Okay.
It's whether or not the Cardinals are willing to pay that $500,000 to give him the opportunity to do
Uh,
that.
but
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't think he not gonna ask for the money. He not
because
gonna
that's
ask for the
no,
money because
that
he's gonna
no,
have the
he's
$30
not.
million.
Yeah, he's not asking for the money, but um, I think from
I
a
know.
ceremonial standpoint, that would be outstanding for him to do it here,
Awesome.
because I think that looking back on it, he probably should have. This should have been the only place. He should have been one of those players that played for one organization.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah, yeah.
definitely. I mean,
He
yeah, that,
would have been
Yeah.
one of those players that by now he would have made the Hall of Fame before he even retired.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah. I
Yeah.
got you. I got you. I mean,
you know what I
and
mean.
that's
So
It's true.
that's the.
It's
I
true.
think that's the bottom line, and let's see how he finished the whole thing. I
yes,
mean, we hopefully finish the best way he can for him. And I tell Baerga, because of course we would like him to do what Baerga say, but I tell Baerga, we're in a new base. And the Cardinals have to say, okay, we need to get somebody off the 40-man roster. And
40
that's
man
like a
roster. Yeah.
baby list for them. That's the
yeah,
golden list. So we could put him in the 25th five roster, 26-man roster for in a bat or something like that. So I tell Carlos, I hope it happens somehow like that. But if not, I guess I could say Pujols next spring training, he'll sign a one-day contract with the Cardinals and he'll retire
Or maybe,
as a
maybe,
Cardinal.
maybe the last day of the season. The
you
last
I
never
day
don't
of the
know.
know.
season
You
for the
never
Fan
know.
Appreciation Day. Fan
Yes.
Appreciation Day.
I,
Boom. Albert Pujols.
Yeah.
all
Unbelievable.
right,
That's
Carlos,
gonna
say
be
bye to
national
Ozzie now.
TV. I putting a movie together. I put a movie together. So that's good. Ozzie, man. I really appreciate it. But before you go, man, it's so nice to talk to you, man, about baseball. It's awesome. Roberto Clemente Award. We need that
Yes.
award for you with that
It was
name,
very,
Roberto Clemente.
very, very special, because that was my favorite player growing up, and
Wow.
I used to catch the bus out to Dodger Stadium when the Pirates came to town, because he was one of those players that you have to keep your eye on, because he may do something you may never see again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was special.
He
He
was
was special
special.
player, man. Like
Yes, he
you,
was.
special like you, bro. Like you guys are unbelievable, man. What an opportunity God give us today, you know, to have you with us. And Palillito, you have to use all the stuff that he teach about fielding, prepare yourself, you know, hitting and stuff like that, you know, for your kids, you know, for the school that you guys have, because I think that was awesome, you know, learning here, you know, how you prepare yourself and what you did, you know, to become one of the best shortstop in your era.
Ozzie Smith retired with one of the best launch angle in the career. I think it was like 2.5. I had to say it. I had to say the word launch angle.
Launch angles. Yeah, right.
But awesome. But man, thank you very much. God bless you. It was an honor to have you today. Thank you very much, my friend. Always.
Thank you, guys. Have a great evening.
Let me tell you, the whole day today, I was thinking about we should bring Omar and Ozzie Smith to Puerto Rico, to do a clinic for the kids. And I swear to God, I was thinking about that, and I'm gonna put it together. Put it together so you can spend the whole weekend with us, and you can go to the beach.
Okay, great, Carlos. Great idea.
Nice meeting you, Ozzie, and be good, my man.
All right, you too. Bye bye.
God bless. Bueno, señores, Ozzie Smith, señores, para mí, Baerga, un honor demasiado de grande. Era una de las estrellas que, Baerga, te voy a decir, yo la amistad, ¿verdad? Igual que tú, la amistad con Luis Alicea es increíble, lo conozco desde jovencito, la amistad con Cheito Kendo, la amistad con Cheito Kendo, que jugamos hasta en Ponce, y yo lo conozco también desde joven. Ellos dos decirme, años atrás, mira, Palillito, cuando me di cuenta que era Ozzie Smith que yo iba a jugar, ¿sabes qué, verdad? Cheito pues venía de los Mets, Luis Alicea pues venía de las menores, pero como primer round, esa cuestión. Y ellos me decían, en los primeros juegos fueron fuertes, porque yo estaba nervioso. Yo estaba nervioso. Y después oí a Rex Hotler aquí en una conferencia de prensa que está trabajando con Kansas City, creo, en la transmisión. Jugaba pelota, señores, por si acaso. Y Rex Hotler dice, pues mire, lo que yo recuerdo de Ozzie Smith cuando yo jugué con Ozzie Smith fue... pues exacto, cuando terminé ese primer juego con Ozzie Smith, señores, yo fui al clubhouse. ¿Usted sabe a quién yo llamé? Y todo el mundo le decía, ¿a quién? ¿A quién? A mami. Y le dije, mami, hice doble play con el más grande del mundo.
El caballo, no, de verdad que Ozzie, yo tuve la oportunidad, y lo vuelvo a repetir, en Japón, jugar con él la combinación, esos 7 partidos fue algo súper especial, de verdad que nunca lo